Welcome to my cooking show. Welcome to my Cooking in German show. Later today, I will bake traditional German Lebkuchen, which is gingerbread, of the Nuremberg variety. So it can't officially be Nuremberg bread. It's not bread, it's a cookie. It can't be official Nuremberg cookies because that's kind of certified and regulated, but we will make Nuremberg style. And I will tell you the German vocabulary for everything. Now, it's gonna be a while before the evening time, so I'm going to tell you about the ingredients first, and then in the next video, we will make the cookies. So, if you're from North America and maybe elsewhere, when you think of gingerbread, you think of these cute little gingerbread men. You know, you use a cookie cutter, you cut it out, you decorate it. That's not generally what the German gingerbread looks like. It's usually maybe decorated with a few nuts and has a nice glaze on it, but it's not going to be in all these different shapes. The one that I'm making today is actually a very common type to find at the Nuremberg Christmas market. They have these round ones that are about this big, and they almost are kind of domed. They have a flat little cookie sheet on the bottom, and then they're kind of domed. And so these cookie sheet things, almost like a rice cake. These are called Oblaten, and they are very hard to find in the United States where I live. So I had to order them off Amazon. I will put the link below. I'll put the link for a lot of this below so it's easy for you to find, because not all these are easy to find in every country. But it's funny because I had this picture in my head of Nuremberg Oblaten, and they're like this big. And so I went online to order some from Amazon, and I just thought, of course it's this big. They're all this big. And I get it in the mail, and look how tiny they are. So I'm going to have tiny little gingerbread cookies, but that's okay. They'll taste the same, and we'll still have our Oblaten. Maybe I can take one out for you so you can see what they are, because they generally are not used in North American, well, in US cooking at least, in American cooking. See, so they're these thin little wafers. What are they made out of? They have the consistency of thin little rice wafers, rice cakes. But they are made out of, they're made out of flour and potato starch. Interesting. Okay, so that's the Oblaten. And as far as spices go, we have der Honig, honey. This is a staple of gingerbread cooking, and they've been using this ever since gingerbread was invented thousands of years ago in Egypt. And then the recipe that I have, which I will share with you in the link below, it's all written in German, so either you can follow my next video or you can try it out in German, whatever you want. But I have, this recipe, what are you doing? This recipe that I use just says gingerbread, whatever these are called, Gewürze. But, you know, that's the lazy way out. I want to make it myself. So I got all of the different components of Lebkuchen Gewürze. So we have der Anis. We have der Cardamom. Der Anis. We have der Zimt. Cinnamon. We have die Nelken. cloves. We have die Muskatnuss, nutmeg. We have der Ingwer. What is this? Ginger. And we have der Piment, allspice. So those are our spices that we'll be using today. It also calls for brauner Zucker, which translates directly to brown sugar. Now, if you're in Germany and you're buying brown sugar, it looks a lot like this. This is coconut palm sugar, which I will be using. It's kind of granular and brown. If you're in the United States, brown sugar is something very different. Brown sugar is actually white granulated sugar mixed with molasses. And that is something you do not want to use on your gingerbread cookies if you want the authentic taste, because the brauner Zucker, it's basically just brown raw cane sugar. So go get yourself some brown raw cane sugar, or I might find some good authentic brauner Zucker, German style, and link it below. And then one really interesting thing is the Lebkuchen from Nuremberg does not use like wheat flour. So what we're going to use is gemahlene Mandeln. So almond flour, basically. That's been almonds that are ground almonds, gemahlene Mandeln. And we will also be using ground hazelnuts, gemahlene Haselnüsse. I had a hard time finding this at the grocery store, so I had to get it off Amazon. And then we have Kuvertüre, this meltable chocolate. And what you're going to do with that is melt it down and once the cookie is done and pour it over, because usually there's some kind of glaze. If you go to the Christmas market in Nuremberg, there will be gingerbread cookies with all kinds of different flavors of glazes. I think I saw wine flavor, chocolate flavor, vanilla. There's a great selection. I miss it. And then we have candied fruit peels. So we have Zitronat, das Zitronat, little candied fruit peels. And we also have das Orangat, little candied. Okay, so Zitronat is lemon peels and Orangat is orange peels, of course. So those are our main ingredients we're going to use tonight. And you are also going to notice, unlike in the United States, where we use cups and measuring cups and tablespoons, I'm going to be using this scale a lot. Because in German cooking, and I think probably in European cooking in general, they tend to measure things. They don't use that cup system. And if you think about it, it actually makes a lot of sense, because some of these things may be coarser and finer, and so you're getting a really inconsistent amount if you just measure it with a cup. But if you know the weight, it's going to be the same amount every single time. Okay, so I'm looking forward to making teeny tiny little gingerbread cookies, or Lebkuchen, with you tonight. So stay tuned. We'll meet up again to mix these all and transform them. Tschüss, bis später!